Whenever I make a post about sensitive issues, I always know there is no blueprint of how people are supposed to react to the post. Because when you make sensitive posts, people are going to react based on their experiences. Sometimes from a place of pain, the experiences they are having in the moment and the ones they've had in the past, or experiences they also had vicariously. So it may be an experience of someone that's close to them, someone that is dear to them, and they feel the pain of that person. So if you make a post that is about sensitive issues, people are going to react, and I don't blame them at all. I understand that it's them being triggered by the post, and sometimes it's kind of shuts down their ability to think critically about what you've said and see your points. They may be clouded by the emotions that they feel at the moment. So it doesn't upset me, it doesn't make me sad. I just understand. Now, I said it, and I'm going to repeat it again. No woman can make your children hate you. Or I can also put it this way: no man can make your children hate you. So it goes both ways. However, there are conditions, there are circumstances under which the other parents can succeed in making the children to hate you. Now, the first thing is this: if the other parent succeeds in taking the children away from you, from within your reach, and goes to where you cannot reach them, especially as little children who have very little or no memory of you, it's easy to pollute them, to corrupt them, to fill their minds with negativity about you. That's very easy. And before I continue, it's important to note this. Saying that no woman can make your children hate you doesn't mean that no woman wants to. There are good women, there are bad women, there are good men, there are bad men. It's the way the world is, So women hurt men all the time. Men hurt women all the time. Are there women who are devilish, who would want to alienate a man from his children? There are women like that. They do exist. Are there women that are going to try to paint the man negatively before the children, so that the children can hate the man? Yes, there are women like that also. So what I'm saying does not negate this fact. It is a fact that there are women who try to alienate you, the man, because they want to be in total control of the children. But then that's also an evidence of the abusive nature of the woman, because when you are doing this as a woman, you're being the abuse is to the children. It is pure child abuse, right? A woman can attempt to make the children hate you. She may attempt it, but it doesn't mean it's going to work. Like I said earlier, the only way for her to succeed, the only way for a woman to succeed and make your children hate you are when the children have no memory of you, or they have very little memory of you, or the memory they have about you before they left, or before they were able to understand what is really going on between you and their mother, is a negative memory. Like all they know about you is this abusive man, this monster. I want to even explain to you that even in therapy, there are times that you see children who had memories of their dad as maybe this woman beater who, when they were just say 3, 4, 5, 6, and then they are grown now. Of course, they grew apart from the man, and you see them building connections with the man. Remember that as kids, they remember seeing the man being abusive to their mother. But now they are grown and they are still trying to connect with the man. And in some cases, maybe the man has changed, has become a better person, and he's trying to connect with them. And you see them, they are always willing to put aside that experience they had with the man as kids, and they try to connect with him as adults. It happens, you see. So despite having such memories, they still try to avoid hating the man. They don't hate him, because when you say hate, it takes a lot for a child to hate you completely, to see you as a monster and maintain that mindset consistently. It takes a lot. Now, a woman may want to do that, may want to achieve that, may want to ruin your reputation before the children, but she can only succeed if you are not there at all. It's why I said if you're not involved. So for her to do it, she has to do the first thing, which is alienating you from them physically, taking you out of the equation. If she succeeds in taking you out of the equation, like taking the children, running away, going to one place that you have no access to them, you can't read them, you don't know what is going on, and then it's easier for her to fill up their heads. But even as she does that, children are interesting people. They are still going to have question marks in their heads, regardless of whatever she's teaching them or she's telling them. If they have, or if they've not had any prior interactions with you, there'll still be these question marks in their head, seeking for closure, hoping to meet you, hoping to ask questions to know, is it true? Is it really true? There's always the part of us that wants to say, or rather want to ask, is it really true? Did you really do this? Are you this terrible? You know. So if she's succeeded in taking them away from you, then she can corrupt them. Of course, this also goes both ways. If the man does the same, then he can fill up the heads of the children as they are growing up with a lot of tales about the other parent. But what is not possible is for a woman that you're living with in the same space, or both of you are raising the children together, maybe from different spaces, to make the children to hate you. It's not going to work, because children don't just focus on what you say. Children focus on what you do. That is why one of the ways to inculcate a behavior in children is to model it, not just say it. Children listen more, or they pay more attention to what you do than what you say. So you may be saying one thing, but they are watching you, they are observing you, and you're doing something different. They are learning the other one that you're doing. What you're doing is what they are learning from you. Now, a woman can decide to be saying, your father is terrible, your father is this, your father is that. But the experience that the children are having with you is the opposite of what she's saying. Of course, it is abusive for them because she's abusing them, you know. But that experience matters a lot. Children will never forget the experiences that you give to them. What is the experience that you give to them? I'm sure that we are familiar with cases where you see a woman who has given all her best, you know, raising children, paying fees, doing that, and then the man comes along and takes the children to Coastal and buys them ice cream. And you see how the ice cream that this man buys for them will make them feel so valued, so loved, much more than every money that the woman has been spending on them. That's the way children are. It's the experience, the unique experience that they want. You know, so children may likely forget the money you give to them, the money you spend, the houses, and all that. But that emotional connection that you have with them, it's what lives with them. is going to live with them for as long as they live on earth. That's the experience that matters to them. You see, no, when you talk about neglect, emotional neglect, abandonment, these are big issues for children. They're very big issues for them. So children pay more attention to the parent who is there for them. Being there for them isn't just about providing their physical material needs. No. Being there for them is more about how much of the emotional connection you have with them. There are cases too of women in marriages that are dysfunctional. I'm trying not to say abusive, but dysfunctional, and they are unhappy in the marriages. But you see that their children are okay with the man. Why? Because he's giving them a particular kind of experience. So the children are there. They shall know that something is going on between their parents. But all that matters to them is that the man is giving them beautiful experiences. That's why in some cases you see that women tend to start transferring aggression from the man to the children because they are feeling like this man isn't treating me right, but he's treating these children right. Some women who do not really understand the implications of some of these things may start transferring aggression to the children and start maybe being angry, being upset with the children. And in extreme cases, they may start getting in the way of the relationship that the man has with the children. It's more like, since this man is not treating me like this, I'm going to get in the way of him treating the children like this. But you need to understand that the relationship that you have with a man, your co-parent, is a different kind of relationship from what the man has with the children. And you should never at any point get in the way of his relationship with the children, as long as it's healthy and he's not abusive to them. If you try to limit the beautiful experiences that the children are having with the man because you're not getting yours, that's abuse, that's child abuse. So if you're in a home, or like you're in the picture as a man, it's going to be difficult for the woman to make the children hate you, because the children are watching, they are observing you, they are observing her, they are seeing things. They know what you said, they know what she said. She told them, Daddy is not a good person, Daddy is this, Daddy is that. They know, they remember that she said it. But there is an experience. They are experiencing Daddy. There is something that Daddy does for them that makes them feel good. You see, all those little moments of intimacy that they share with their father, where he buys them things and he talks to them, nicely, and he listens to them, and he relates with them properly. They are never going to forget those experiences. And there is nothing you're going to say to them to hate him that you succeed. You will not succeed. They are not going to hate him. Because let's say the man goes to work and he spends most of his time at work. Because yes, there is also this belief that most times it's when the man is out there hustling that women tend to pollute the minds of the children. Right, no problem. But the man is going to come back home and then he's going to have his own moments with the children. The children knows the parent that is yelling at them. They know the parent that doesn't listen. They know the parent that is dismissive. They know the parent that hits them. They know these things. They know these things. I've seen cases where a woman is complaining that her children are drawn, they are closer to the man. And then I had to start asking, what is your experience with these children? How do you make them feel? Because it is human nature, it is our nature to gravitate towards safety, to go to anybody who makes us feel safe, feel at home. And as primary caregivers of children, it's your responsibility to make your children to feel safe. So if you are not making them feel safe, if they feel threatened, if each time they spend around you increases their stress, they are going to avoid you because of how you make them feel. I mean, look at your relationship with adults. Is it not normal that we always want to get close to people who make us feel good, not those who give us stress? Except when you are trauma bonded to them. But generally, you want to be around people who make you feel at home, make you feel safe, So it's the same for children too. If you may be the parent, you, the woman, may be the parent that is picking most of the bills, spending all the money and doing all the stuff. But if you're the parent that is always having outbursts, always yelling, always talking to them anyhow, or hitting them, or doing, it is normal, it is natural for them to be drawn to the other parents who treats them better, who treats them kindly. So before you start saying, oh, my wife or my co-parent or my partner or whatever you people call yourself is making the children hate me, the important question that you need to answer is, what experience are you giving to these children? Because that's what will determine whether they are going to be close to you or not. It's not the other person, which is why I said it, that the only way somebody can achieve that is if you are not in the picture to give them your own memory, your own experiences. So if you're not there for them to experience you, it's easier for the other party to fill up their heads, because then there is no there is no reference point for the children. Your father is a monster, but there is no father in the picture, so they don't even know. Your father is a devil, okay. Your father did this, okay. Your father burnt down my shop, okay. Your father is this, is that, okay. There is no reference point. There is nothing to, there is no point for them to compare whether what she's saying is true or not, because you are not in the picture. And since you're not in the picture, they have to take what the other person is saying to them, and understanding that they are impressionable, they are little children, so it's easy to fill up their heads with stuff. Of course, they are going to figure things out when they become adults, when they are able to access more information. But at that point, they are going to just accept what the other person is saying to them. But when you are in the picture, let's not lie to ourselves. If you are in the picture and you are able to spend your own time with them or interact with them, you have all the opportunity to turn around whatever the other person is doing or saying to them by how you treat them, by the experience you give to them. But then if you're the type of father that you are also abusive, you may not know that you are being abusive. I also want to point that out. You may not know. You may actually think that you're just being a strict father, or that you're trying to raise them properly, but then you neglect emotional connection. You're neglecting it. You're not taking it into consideration. You're not investing in it. And that is what children crave. They want it. It's the most important thing for them. So if you're that father who, when you come home, everybody's scared of you, and then each time you leave the children, the memory of you that they have is something negative, something painful, then it becomes easy for the other party to fill their heads. Because then when the woman in this case is saying your father is this or your father is that, the children can compare it to the way you are treating them. And when they make that comparison, they say, yes, but it's true. That's how he treats us. Look at, the other day he did this to me and he did that too. So because you are contributing to whatever narrative that the woman is creating for them, you're contributing to it. But if you have a great relationship with your children, as long as you have access to them and you have a great relationship, you talk to them nicely, you respect them, you treat them with utmost respect, and you are kind to them. You know, you're a parent. There are days that your head is not going to be correct, because it shouldn't be something that is an everyday experience. So if you are treating them right and you're there and you're doing what you're supposed to do as a parent, the other person is not going to be able to make them hate you. It will not work. It will not work. So the question that you need to ask yourself is, what memory am I leaving these children? You know, what are the experiences? How do they feel about me? How do I make them feel? You need to answer this, and when you answer this, you will know if if they are going to hate you or if they are not going to hate you eventually.